In October 2015, a Tennessee state legislator introduced a bill that would change religious studies teaching standards in Tennessee schools. Responding to some parents' concerns that their kids are being indoctrinated by Islamic teaching, the bill mandates that students cannot be taught religious studies classes before grade 10 in order to protect young children from feeling conflicted with what they are taught at home versus what they learn at school. The bill also mandates that the State Board of Education will ensure that no religion being taught in any history or geography class will ever amount to any sort of indoctrination. But what amounts to indoctrination? Does teaching the theology of Islam, Buddhism, or Hinduism really making Tennessee kids that conflicted? Now, some scholars have proposed mandatory religious studies classes for American public schools. But obviously, judging from this Tennessee bill, this is very controversial. So the question remains, are religious studies classes in public schools a good idea? And if not, what should we do about the growing religious illiteracy in our society? In a previous video, I talk about the growth of religion in the 21st century. Pew Research has found that religious groups are projected to grow as a share of the global population by 2050. Islam in particular is projected to experience the most growth. Now, a lot of this is based on other population growth and fertility factors. Some of the most secular countries on earth are already below population replacement levels, so it's not like everyone is suddenly converting to religion. There are a lot of factors at work here. But interestingly, another phenomenon is happening at the same time. Even though religious groups are growing worldwide, most people simply don't know anything about religion, or even their own religion. Now, I'm going to focus on the United States in this video just as an example. About 40% of Americans can't name the first book of the Bible. Only half of Americans know that the Quran is the holy book of Islam. Less than half know that the Dalai Lama is a Buddhist, and embarrassingly, 10% of Americans believe that Joan of Arc was Noah's wife. And maybe some of you remember this hilarious scene in 2006 when Stephen Colbert stumps Congressman Lynn Westmoreland when he couldn't name the 10 Commandments, which he was fighting so hard to keep standing in a courthouse in Georgia. Now, this is what we call religious illiteracy, which is when people lack knowledge, sensitivity, and understanding of other religions. Religious illiteracy can also be described as lacking the basic knowledge of the world's religious traditions, the diversity of expressions within a given tradition, and the profound role that religion plays in social, cultural, and political life. Now, whether you're religious or not, whether you even like religion or not, you can't deny that it has been a huge cultural, artistic, philosophical, and political force throughout our species' history. And though you might deny it, religion continues to play a huge role in today's global society. So I think we would be a lot better off knowing a little bit more about this thing that pops up everywhere in our news cycle. Now, studying religion does not mean taking off your critical skeptic's hat. It doesn't mean being indoctrinated or saying all religion has truth to it. We all know that religion is deeply tied to violent episodes all throughout our species' history, and it should be critiqued. But it shouldn't be critiqued from a position of ignorance. So if this is the case, what are the benefits of boosting religious literacy? First of all, religious literacy just makes for a better functioning individual. It eliminates harmful stereotypes like Islamophobia, and it boosts your critical thinking skills, so when a politician says something about religion, you know they're being completely crazy or not. Now, this leads to benefit number 2, a better functioning society. Boosting religious literacy aids in social cohesion, how we get along with each other, and how we as a society work together to get over shared problems. And a third benefit, which really is just a bonus, is you get to see how other humans have wrestled with existential questions. Who are we? What can we know? And what is the meaning of life? Now, I don't have any easy answers to fix America's religious illiteracy problem. Religion for Breakfast is here to help, but some scholars have proposed some big changes to public policy. For example, Dr. Stephen Prothero, a professor of religion at Boston University, wrote a best-selling book where he urges at least 2 mandatory religious studies classes in all public schools, one on the Bible and one on world religions. Now, of course, these classes would be teaching religion in the Bible as social phenomena, and not as indoctrination or teaching the religion as true. Now, he argues that teaching the Bible as a text that is deeply entrenched in American politics and teaching world religions in general will make for a more balanced, tolerant, and effective public. But as we saw with the Tennessee state legislature, this is a very controversial idea. First of all, is it even constitutional? Now, public school teachers are technically government officials, and the First Amendment of the United States Constitution says the government cannot endorse any one religion. So the fear is, if public school teachers start teaching religion, they are somehow violating their students' constitutional rights. In fact, a 2010 Pew Research study found that 67% of Americans Americans think it is illegal to read the Bible as a work of literature in public school classes. Now, a lot of this confusion stems from the Supreme Court's decision in 1963, Abington versus Schempp, which outlawed public school teachers from reading the Bible devotionally to their students or leading prayer in public schools. Now, of course, this doesn't outlaw the academic study of religion, though. Justice Thomas Clark wrote, "It might be said that one's education is not complete without a study of comparative religion or the history of religion and its relationship to the advancement of civilization." So the Supreme Court is definitely on the side of religious studies classes, even though most of America thinks it's illegal. But the second controversy is religion is just too controversial. Wouldn't public school teachers be a lot more comfortable to avoid talking about Sunnis and Shias? Or to avoid talking about evangelical politics in America today? Because it seems like you just can't talk about these topics without it becoming too personal, either for the teacher or the students involved. But are these controversies a good enough reason not to have religious studies classes? Now, I happen to think it's a great idea. Not only do I run a religious studies blog, but I find religion weirdly fascinating enough to devote my whole career to it. But many of you watching this are rational voting members of democratic societies worldwide, so you should decide for yourself. Is religious illiteracy a problem? And should we encourage more critical and comprehensive religious studies classes in public schools? If not, what alternate ways would you suggest boosting religious literacy? If I get any good answers, I'll share them in the next video, but until then, thanks for subscribing and thanks for watching.